Hi, it's Chris from Driver Training Limited. In today's video, we're dealing with one of the newer Telford test routes, especially the independent section, where they ask you to follow the signs for Telford Town Centre, then A442 North, then A518. So as we come up to the Asda at Donington, we're going to be asked to go right, third exit. Now as we come off the roundabout, the thing to bear in mind here, if you're not paying attention, is the change of speed limit to 50 miles an hour. Now the examiner will ask you to start following the signs for Telford Town Centre. Coming up, we've got the roundabout board on the left, so if we have a look at that, we can see it doesn't actually tell us Telford Town Centre, so because it doesn't say any different, we're just going to follow the road ahead. As we come up in the distance, you can see on the left, because of the lorry blocking the one on the right, the change of speed limit down to 40. So you need to be aware of that. But remember, a good way of checking the speed limit of the road you're on is to always look for repeater signs, so we can see on our left here the small 40 sign, just reminding us it is still 40 miles an hour. So we're looking for Telford Town Centre on the roundabout board, and as we look at it we can see that it's right, third exit. So we get in the right hand lane. Now this is where it gets weird. The right hand lane goes to the town centre, but so does the middle one. However, the arrow on the middle one does say straight ahead only. So you need to bear in mind that traffic in the middle lane can come round to the right, but generally the better and the safer option is just to be in the right hand lane. So we know it's right, third exit, so as we said at this point, the car next to us can be coming round to go in the same direction, even though the road marking said straight ahead only. So it's really important to check that centre and left mirror to make sure it's clear before you come off. If there was a car there, just stay in the right hand lane. As we come down, we can see our change of speed limit now to national. Remember, it does not become national speed limit until you go past those signs. So don't start accelerating and get over 40 before you get to them. So national speed limit on a single carriageway is 60 miles an hour. If we miss that, again, do we have repeater signs? Yes, we do, confirming it is national speed limit. In the distance already you can see some highlighted signs. The one that catches people the most is these, because we're now going from a 60 into a 30 zone. So you've got to be at 30 by the time you pass those. We're looking at the roundabout board now for Telford Town Centre. We see it straight ahead, third exit, so we know left-hand lane because there's no signs or road markings to say otherwise. So it's straight ahead, third exit. Remember, we've just come in past 230 signs, but as we come off the roundabout, we have the change of speed limit sign now to 40 miles an hour. Now you'll be asked to follow the signs for A442 North. So this is where it gets quite intense. So we're following the signs for A442 North. Now already we pick up the road markings and the right-hand lane says A442 North. Added to that, now you've got the change of speed limit. We're going down to 30. So the road markings again confirm A442 North, right-hand lane. Because if you look at the roundabout board, it just simply says left and right A442, but it doesn't say which way is which. So this is the importance of going by the road markings. Welcome to Telford. So we're going to get across into the right-hand lane, and we saw that it was right, fifth exit. The road markings confirm right-hand lane A442 North. Still A442 North. Now this is where the lanes open up, so what we need to do is keep in the right hand lane. Again, if we look at the road markings, the middle lane says M54, this right hand lane says A442, and what most people do is stay in the middle lane. But there's no problem. We're going to show you at the end of the video how to deal with that if you end up in the wrong lane, and it's a lot easier than you actually think and a lot simpler. So here it's just making sure you can clear the yellow box junction before you go into it. We keep in our lane until we see the road markings. Now the centre lane clearly says A442 North. So we're just going to keep in this middle lane and follow it round. We're looking into the distance. We can see the signboard there. If we look at it, it says that is M54. So we know that's not our junction. So we just carry on following this lane round. And on the floor says A442 North. So again, just don't cross either of the white lines. And the board in front of us confirms A442 North, and now the speed limit changes to 60 because we're going down the slip road and on to the dual carriageway, which is A442 North. So it's making sure to check your mirrors and signal. Bear in mind you're changing lanes, you're crossing the white line, so if there's traffic you have to give way to it. Now we're going to follow the signs for A518. Now this is a long stretch of straight road. Remember, it's 60 miles an hour, and then we're looking to pick up the signs for A518. We look at the roundabout board. At the moment, it doesn't tell us A518, so we just keep following the road ahead. which is kind of the same as when you're just having instructions. We'll tend to say to you, unless I say left or right, just follow the road ahead. Same is true with road markings and signs. Now looking at the board, it does tell us A518 is right-hand lane. Now you can get over at this point, nothing wrong with that. Most times, unless it's quite busy, you can stay in the left-hand lane, and this second sign coming up tells you that the A518 is right-hand lane, but at the bottom it does encourage you now to get into the lane you need. So we can move over at that point, and it just means if we're going a bit slower, then the traffic has time to overtake before we move over. However, if it is busier, you might want to move over at that first sign. Looking at the next road sign, still tells us A518 is right-hand lane. Now on the other side of this roundabout, the slip road runs parallel. So because we haven't seen any other signs for A518 to move lanes, we see our sign on the left telling us this slip road runs parallel alongside. So you can have traffic coming down. We know we were told to stay in the right-hand lane, so we keep in the right-hand lane. Because at the moment, there's nothing telling us any different. As we come down, looking at the road sign on the right, it tells us A518 is definitely still right-hand lane. The rumble strips, the yellow strips across the road telling us there's a roundabout coming up, and the A518 is still right lane. Now here, again, our speed limit goes down to 30. Make sure you're at 30 for that sign. Road marking now says A518, so we're confirming we are in the correct lane for this. But if you found yourself going back into the left lane, there's not a problem. Just as soon as you saw the road marking, just check those mirrors, make sure it's safe, move into the correct lane. There is nothing wrong with being in the wrong lane and having to change lanes, as long as you do the mirrors and signal first and make sure that it is safe too. As we come down, this first exit on the right says buses and taxis only. So we're following it down. Now the sign tells us A518 is the next exit to the right. So it'd be mirrors and signal, and the board in front does indeed confirm A518 is this way, and so does the road marking. As we come round, remember, choice of two lanes, just stay in the left. Because we do have a video on zip merging, because the two lanes go into one, but it's just easier for you, especially on your test, stay in that left lane. So how do we deal with it then when it goes wrong? Well, we're going to give you two examples. This is the first one. So what we're going to do now is look at changing lanes. So we're back in the town centre when the lanes split. What happens if we go into the middle lane? Well, we can see A442 is that right-hand lane. So as we've just mentioned, there's no big problem. We just check our centre and right mirror. We signal right. We look for a gap. And then we simply move across. If you can't move across at this time, then stay calm, just follow it round, because in a minute we'll give you a second alternative. But at this point now, you can see that there's a big gap, so you could move across and into the middle lane. And then this just follows it round and back down onto the dual carriageway. So what about if we can't move across? Well, here's the second option. We're coming round, we're in the middle lane, and we realise, I should be in that right-hand lane. But perhaps we've got a car or two at the side of us or coming up quickly, so we can't move across. What do? Two things. First, look for a gap. So here we do have a car at the side of us, but as it moves, there's a big enough gap for us to move over behind it now. However, if there were another couple of cars, which you'll see in a second come up, then we just stay in the lane and follow it. So we just keep in this lane. Now we know we've come from the A5, so we're following it down. It's a long straight road. Now we know at the first roundabout we come to, we want to go right, so it's a good idea to get in the right lane about now. Because the first roundabout, as we said, we're going to go all the way round it and back on ourselves. So we're coming up, we're just seen from the roundabout board to go back on ourselves is 5th exit. But here, because it's a laned roundabout, we're just looking for the signs for Cannock and A5, which is the road that we've just come off. So we keep in the right hand lane, keeping that right signal on, and we look for Cannock and A5, which we've got there in front of us. So here it's just a case of keeping it slow, staying in our lane, not crossing the white lines either side. Still says Cannock and A5, so we know the middle lane is the one that we need. We're looking ahead of us for where these lanes go, so we just follow the lane round. Cannock and A5, that brings us back down to the road that we've just come off, and this will lead us back to the roundabout at the town centre by the train station. So we just follow this road all the way down. As we come down to the roundabout board again, the road marking tells us A442 North, which looking on the board is the first exit on the left. So we hope this has helped you in your understanding of this independent section. My name's Chris from Driver Training Limited. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because it really does help the channel to grow. Remember to drive well, stay safe, and we'll see you all again in our next video.